But to end off the PlayStation State of Play, we got Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, which is a wild name because I learned that Tokon means Fighting Souls. So they could have just called it
Mm-hmm.
Marvel Fighting Souls. They didn't need the Tokon part. um, or they could have just called it Marvel Tokon. But Fighting Souls, of course, makes more sense because it's a fighting game. It's a weird title. Why did they do that?
It's a very weird title. It's a very weird title, but I kind of rock with it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the old Dragon Ball fighting games and how those were
Yeah.
titled.
But at least
Yeah,
Budokai
it's
Tenkaichi
charming.
is the name of the tournament in the show.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Budokai Tenkaichi. It's Battle Under the Heavens.
I see. Because okay, the whole reason I said the Dragon Ball fighting games and not their name specifically is because I grew up with those fighting games. They are a fundamental part of my childhood because my mom loved Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball in general, right? I had never known how to say them. I would butcher it every single time. I feel vindicted now that I know.
That's hilarious. PlayStation Studios, Arc System Works, and Marvel Games have joined forces to realize the latest in tag team fighters, Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. Experience the Marvel Universe like never before with reimagined characters and stages, a heart pounding soundtrack, innovative gameplay mechanics, and jaw dropping visuals that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Whether this is your first fighting game or you're a veteran of the genre, Arc has incorporated gameplay controls and mechanics that are easy to pick up and play, and yet still offer the depth and versatility for high level competition. This is so it's a 4v4 tag fighting game that's a spiritual successor to Marvel vs. Capcom, and the next game people presumed would be called Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Coincidence? I think not. No, it is a
Think
coincidence.
that?
But, well, kind of, because obviously this is heavily inspired by Marvel vs. Capcom because it's a Marvel fighting game. Um,
Right.
this was incredibly surprising. Nobody could have seen this coming in 1,000
Yeah,
years. But it looks awesome.
definitely not.
I've been wanting a Marvel only fighting game for years, and I of course thought it was going to come from Capcom like everybody else because the first the first Marvel fighting game they made I think was like an X-Men game, but they made Marvel Superheroes, which was
Yeah.
a Marvel only fighting game, but there was only one of those, I think. And then they started making Marvel vs. Capcom. What they made was it X-Men vs. Street Fighter, then Marvel vs. Capcom, and then 2, 3 Infinite. Infinite was ass, and that's probably why Marvel isn't making the game with Capcom anymore, even though it was Marvel's fault that it was asked. Because they just got too involved, and the game ended up bad as a result. Um, but yeah, this looks awesome, and
It
Marvel
does.
specifically encouraged Arxis to design everything the way that they want it versus trying to like essentially copy what the characters look like exactly in the games. And that's why it looks so unique
Hmm.
and so much like an Arc System Works game because that's what they wanted. They wanted this to be an Arc
For
System
sure.
Works fighting game. They didn't just want it to be a generic Marvel fighting game. And as a result, it looks real cool and it's definitely going to pull a lot of people in due to just that
Like
that
me.
that anime art style. Um, I'm not
Mhm.
usually into these types of fighting games because it's just too much shit on screen at once, and this one is going to have more of that because it's 4v4 instead of 3v3 or 2v2. Like 3v3 is what Marvel's Capcom
Mhm.
does. They added one more to that, and it's just going to be a bunch of shit on screen. But
Especially
they've
because it's Arxis.
yeah, they found ways to simplify it. In the after the trailer, they had a little mini documentary going over like how this came to be, and essentially, PlayStation went to Arxis and said, "Hey, would you like to make a Marvel fighting game?" And they said, "Yes, of course." And then they both went to did I say Marvel? I meant PlayStation went to Arxis and asked them if they wanted to make a Marvel fighting game, and Arxis said yes, of course. And then they both went to Marvel, and Marvel agreed because you PlayStation who made the Spider-Man games, and then they went to a renowned fighting game studio, came up to Marvel and was just like, we want to make a fighting game.
Mhm.
So Marvel was like, of course. um, and yeah,
Absolutely.
this is the result, and it looks awesome. With this, we
It
are
does.
one step closer to Marvel versus Shonen Jump, since Arxis
Mm.
made Dragon Ball Fighters and already has a relationship with Shonen Jump. Some people have said Marvel versus Dragon Ball, but let's be real, that would be boring as hell. Don't get me wrong. I love Dragon Ball. We were just talking about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's great. But even in Dragon Ball Fighters, which a lot of people love, and it's a good game from out here, I haven't had a chance to play it myself. There is a certain level of uniformity to the way they fight. Like most anime fighting games like that, but Dragon Ball Fighters is one of the better anime fighting games where they actually make each character unique. But even to an extent, they're still very similar from what I've heard. And that's kind of just the nature of Dragon Ball to an extent, because all the characters have the same power set. So there's only so much you can do.
Right.
And of course, the talented game developers like ArcSys could make them even more unique than they already did in Dragon Ball Fighters. But it'll just get to a point to where you're just like making them too different. And it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball anymore. And it will work better to just have a bunch of different characters with different, powers from across the entirety of Shonen Jump. But that's me, speculating on something that might not even happen, but it would be cool if it did happen. But the characters we saw in this trailer were Iron Man, Captain America, Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, Star-Lord, Ghost Rider, not Jaime Reyes. Jaime Reyes is Blue Beetle. I can't remember his name. I never remember his name. I think his last name's Reyes, though. The newest Ghost Rider. Dr. Doom and Storm.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it looks awesome. It looks great. I'm excited to see more. It comes out next year. When next year, we don't know. But, we'll probably be getting a lot more soon. So I'm excited.